What's good, guys? It's your boy Chris here with Team APS Deck Check, and today I'm here to show you my Burning Abyss deck. I know a lot of people been asking Paul to post this, and I finally want to give it up and show you the deck I'm playing. It is the trap version of the deck, but it's my favorite deck, and I like it. So I'm gonna show you guys the deck I'm playing right now. We're gonna start off in this deck. One of my main combo starters in the deck, even though I hate drawing this card first, is Took Out of the Underworld. I hate drawing this card most of the time, strictly off the fact that it's a good ash target. So, or a Veiler, anything, any hand trap, they're usually going to hit this card if I summon it. So a lot of times I like getting it later, as opposed to getting it in my first hand. But I do play it too. It's a staple in the deck. After that, I play 3 Fiendish Rhino Warriors. We don't know what this card does. Essentially, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send a level 3 Fiend to the graveyard. Also, when it's face up on the field, Fiend type monsters can't be destroyed by card effects. So with Burning Abyss monsters, their effect to destroy themselves, if there's a different monster on the field, he pretty much just stops that. So you can summon him with a Burning Abyss monster and they'll stay on the field. After that, I play 1 Graph. If I could play 3, I would, but it's at 1. Essentially, with this, all it does is it special summons a Burning Abyss from the deck. Also, I play 1 Seer. If I could play 3, I would. But Seer, what it does is it targets a Burning Abyss in the graveyard and special summons it when it's sent to the graveyard. Next, I play 3 Skarm. Skarm is a searcher. It pretty much just sets me up for next turn. Either I can search Tour Guide off of it and have it for my next turn, or I can search something that'll affect my opponent on their turn. It pretty much just allows me to search a Fiend type monster for my deck. I think it has to be level 3 or lower, but I usually just search Tour Guide or like a Farfa or something. Speaking of Farfa, next up, I play 3 Farfa. With Farfa, when this card is sent to the graveyard, I can target 1 monster on the field and banish it until the end phase. This pretty much allows me to just get over my problems whenever they do become a problem, without having to attack them or blow them up. I can just banish them until the end phase. After that, with the Burning Abyss lineup, I play Barbar. With Barbar, he can win the game in time, basically. I have a way to send it to the graveyard. I send it to the graveyard. I could banish Burning Abyss monsters in my graveyard and do 300 for each. So usually, I don't even use his effect most of the time. He's another Burning Abyss name to special summon, but I usually only use his effect whenever I'm going into time. Sometimes I'll use it before if I want to just like make a push for game, but most of the time I don't. I just use it in time so I can win by burning my opponent for like 300 or 900. After that, I play 1 Rubik. Rubik, he's a tuner, Burning Abyss monster, so this allows needle fiber plays. And that's pretty much all he does. He has the same effect. He can special summon himself. It's like all the Burning Abyss, but the fact that he's a tuner just makes him a little bit better. After that, I play Cowcab. When Cowcab is sent to the graveyard, he can target 1 set spell or trap and return it to the hand. He's also a name. I play 1 Alec. With Alec, he negates an effect on field, and he can special summon. I play 1 Libic. Some builds don't play Libic. I like Libic. I like playing Libic because it allows me to special summon Burning Abyss from my hand and negate their effects. That comes in handy when I don't have Rhino, but I have something else on field. I can special summon my Graph or my Seer to the field, and they'll just sit there, and I can link them away and then get something from the grave or from the deck. That's it for the Burning Abyss monsters I play in the deck. That package is pretty massive, if I must say, but for the most part, I play a lot of one-ofs, and the ones I do max out on are the better ones. After that, I play my hand traps. I play 3 Veiler. I like having Veiler in the deck because I do play the whole needle fiber package into access code, and Veiler just a good one because it just negates the effect on field. After that, I play 2 Ghost Ogre. Some people play Ash. I like playing Ogre, mostly because at my locals, Ogre just comes in handy a little bit more. But you can play Ash, you can play Imperm, you can play pretty much whatever hand traps you want in this deck. This is just my choice. I don't play a lot. I really only play like 6 in the deck. But yeah, Ogre. Everybody know what Ogre does. And for the last one, I play one DD Crow. DD Crow is DD Crow. Just banish the card from the graveyard, and it's another, just level 1 dark monster in the deck. And for the last monster in the deck, I play one Absolute King Backjack. When this card is sent to the graveyard, I can reveal 3 cards from the top of my deck and rearrange them in whatever position I want. And also during my opponent's turn, I can banish this card from my graveyard and look at the top card of my deck. If it's a trap, I can set it, and it can be activated that turn. But this comes in handy because you can send it with Rhino, you can send it with Beatrice during your opponent's turn, and honestly just get you another trap, which I play a lot of in the deck, and you're going to see pretty soon. And that's it for the monsters in the deck. Monster lineup is pretty average, but for the most part, everything can summon itself and everything has its own purpose, so you really just never have a dead draw with your monsters. Now next up for the spells, I play one Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial, pretty much, everybody knows what that does. Send a monster from your deck to the graveyard, and with that, I can send all my Burning Abyss and get effects. Or Backjack and get an effect. Really just depends on what I want to send. That's it for spells. I don't play spells at all, really. But it's there, because it's like one of the best cards for the deck, to be honest. Next up to my traps, I play 3 Trap Trick. Trap Trick is self-explanatory. It allows me to get a trap on my deck and activate it that turn. Play 3 of that. And for the traps I like to use, I play 3 Dynamiscus. I can banish a card on my opponent's side of the field, plus get a card out of my hand to get another effect. Usually when it's a Burning Abyss monster, I'm going to get another effect. And also, if I activate a trap, I can special summon this card from the graveyard as a monster. So, it comes in handy also. I play 3 Fiend Griefing. With Fiend Griefing, it allows me to put a monster in my opponent's graveyard back in the deck and send one from my deck to the graveyard. So with playing Burning Abyss, I'm able to pretty much get my effects off by putting some of my opponent's combo pieces from the graveyard back into the deck. Comes in handy a lot. This card pretty much, it'll win you the game a lot of times. Next up, I play a card from the very last set, Titanosata. What this card does, it's pretty much like Lost Wind. But what this card does is when your opponent special summons a monster from their extra deck, well, that's the second effect. But the first effect is you can negate a monster's effect that was special summoned from the extra deck and make its attack 0. So essentially with this, you can just blank out a monster's effect, or during battle you can make its attack 0. And also when a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, you can set this card from your graveyard. Comes in handy because it never goes away. But instead of this, you can also play Imperm. I'm not playing Imperm right now. I would, but I don't have any. But for the most part, you can just play this. Or any other 3 of trap that you want that you can set off of Trap Trick. And for the last traps, I play 2 Karma Cut. And Karma Cut essentially just banishes a monster on field. And that's it for the main deck. Now we're going to get to the extra deck. I play 1 Leviathan Sea Dragon. It comes in handy sometimes. It allows you to just pretty much special summon a monster that's been banished. I think it has to be level 4 lower monster that's been banished. After that, I play 2 Dante. You don't really need that 3 because he pretty much recycles every Burning Abyss, including himself. And with Seer, you just keep special summoning 1 from your graveyard and just loop the 2. So you really don't need 3, but you can play 3 if you want. I don't find the need to play 3. But with him, you can activate his effect, send cards from top of your deck to the graveyard up to 3. He gains 500 for each, and that's his effect. Comes in handy, pretty much main monster you're going to be summoning. After that, I play 1 Beatrice. Beatrice allows you to send a card from your deck to the graveyard. You can make Beatrice by discarding a Burning Abyss monster and playing her over Dante, basically. It allows you to exceed summoning to her by discarding and exceed summoning with Dante. She comes in handy. She's pretty much a wall because your opponent, a lot of times they don't want to destroy her because of her second effect, which allows you to special summon a Burning Abyss from your extra deck, negating his summoning condition. So essentially you could just summon, you get a free summon when she's destroyed by card effect or battle. And usually when she's destroyed, you summon Big Dante. His effect is you can discard a card to draw a card. And with Burning Abyss monsters, like I said, they get effects when they send to the graveyard. So usually you'll just discard one, get that effect, draw a card. And then when this card is destroyed, you can take a card out your opponent's hand. He also cannot be targeted by card effects. Next, play a Gravity Controller. Use that to get Dante out of your extra monster zone. Next, you play Needle Fiber. Just get your combo off, go for game, go on the access code, and win the game. But everybody knows what that card does. Kind of needs to be banned pretty soon, in my opinion. Next up, you play Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus. Pretty much allows you to destroy special summon monsters in the main monster zone and allows you to destroy spell traps. You play one IP Masquerena. She's really good in your going first combo, because essentially you just end on her and Beatrice and maybe something else and a couple set spell traps. But yeah, she really just allows you to just gives you more disruptions on your opponent's turn along with Beatrice. After that, usually you'll go into Nightmare Unicorn. Just like other nightmares, he can get rid of a problem card in the field by sending it back to the deck. I play one Celine. With this, it really just depends on matchup because I don't play a lot of spells in the deck itself to use her, because a lot of times you just really don't. But if your opponent is filling their graveyard up with spells, Celine will just win you the game because you can go into Needle Fiber and then Celine and then access code and then win the game. So essentially that's all she does. She special summons a spellcaster from your graveyard. Next up, I play one Trisbania. It's another level 3 that you can run. Comes in handy if you play against a lot of back row decks. You can use this to get rid of it and then burn your opponent also. And for my last couple, I play one Boiled Sword. He just big and he attacks for game. He can attack twice. Usually if access code can't get it done, he can. And for the last one, you got access code. Everybody knows his effect. He can destroy cards on the field. He gets big. He attacks for game. And that's pretty much my Burning Abyss deck. I think it's a super fun deck to play. I've been playing Burning Abyss for a long time, and it's just one of my favorite decks. I always tend to go back to it. No matter what the meta is, there's always a version of it you can play. And if you like the deck, go ahead and try it out. Like I said, a lot of the traps you could change out. You don't have to play the ones I play. Really just depends on what you have and how you want to play it. There's also a lot of extra deck monsters you could change out because you still have like Cherubini, who's a really good card. I don't play it, but it really just depends on what you want to play. Like I said, this is my version of the deck. Kind of similar to the other trap versions that you've seen, but I play my own little tech cards in it. And overall, it's a fun deck to play. You should try it out.